Hello. Hi, Jess. How are you?
Hi, Kelly. I'm doing good.
So, today's episode, we're going to be talking about the craziness of spring activities or just when your life gets busy in certain times of year and what we do in terms of self care to get us through those challenging and chaotic times.
This is Jessica.
This is Kelly, the Chasing Brighter podcast. Jess, um, I know that you've got some crazy things going on your side. Why don't you tell us about, what's going on and what are some strategies that you use?
So I have three children, 14, 11, and 7. And our 14 and 11-year-old are in club ball. So just to describe for anybody who doesn't know what that is, you have rec sports where you sign up in your local area and your kid plays a season for sports. And then there is club ball or travel ball. And in that, the family pays a monthly fee, and then your child plays that sport year round. You travel around. It's a huge time and financial commitment. And so this year is coming on the second year of two of our oldest in club ball, but also so we had Gabby in her club ball, but her team, it's called Going Dark. And in the state of Nevada, when you play high school softball, you cannot also play club ball. So her team, half of her team was in high school. So our team was going to go dark. And so we found a middle school that had a program that she could be in. And then we met people, and then we ended up joining a different team for club ball. So I had a 14-year-old in middle school ball and club ball. And then our 11-year-old signed up for Little League because if you play Little League, you could get chosen for the All-Stars. It's a really fun experience. And that's what ends up ultimately at 12U going to the Little League World Series. So I had three children on 5 teams. And so I had to, so that's the setup. And I'll get into how we manage that. What was your setup for spring for you guys?
My oldest is in a travel baseball team. And then, so that's probably 4 nights, four times a week, 4 nights, days, I guess it depends. And then my youngest this year started soccer with his school team, which was just practice once a week and then games on Saturdays, which has been, that's very tolerable in terms of scheduling. I think then I layered on some of my own personal, what I would call self care, which is golf league. I joined a golf league, which is one night a week. And so it becomes, a lot of activities happening all like every night. And then you sort of, for me, live for the nights that you don't have anything. The other thing that is like totally wild card for us is because my son's in baseball, and in Chicago, spring equals cold and rainy. And so, he's had just a number of games get canceled, but you don't know they're canceled until 2 hours before. So you're making all these plans, or not making them and hoping it gets canceled because you look at the weather. Thank God for those weather apps, in Chicago at least. But so that's kind of been the craziness over here.
Yeah. And we also had, then we also have the 7-year-old in piano and catechism, all the other things you're doing. Like, so then heads up for the non-sporty parents out there, people out there, here you're in private lessons because forget it. Like, so all the kids are in private batting lessons. And for a minute, Gabby was doing pitching lessons So it's just crazy. And we're outnumbered. We chose to have 3 children and we are outnumbered. And we are so, so, so grateful that mom and dad live here. And our mom is retired and our dad works from home. And that is so helpful. And then what I was able to do, which really helped me with my boundaries, my dream was always to be done with work early, but as a therapist, I want to help everybody, and it's hard for me. It has been hard for me in the past to not just add on and take someone who's desperate to find a therapist here in Nevada. Where you know, uh, there's a gross shortage of psychiatry and of therapists, mental health therapists. So it's always hard to find therapists. So anyways, this helped me have a hard, fast rule of being done every day. So what I did for myself this spring, hard, fast rule, no scheduling after 2:30, done every day at 2:30 so I could start transporting the kids. I also had the help of our mom. And I also encourage anybody, if you can't afford childcare, if you are not fortunate enough to have family, unite your tribe and your village and see who lives near you. And if you can carpool. And there's only one other family that lived on our side of town. We traveled pretty far for our daughter. And so we had another family that we were able to beg to, not beg, no, they were very nice to give our daughter rides. And so that was one of the systems I set up. We also have tickets to the Golden Knights, which just added that, just like you say, Golf League is self-care and fun. Like us being able to have season tickets was really important for us. We were on a wait list for a couple of years. So be able to go to the Knights game was fun, but that made things even crazier because then that takes away 2 driving people and 3 children. So that was one of the things. And the other thing I did this year, I rarely had an eye twitch this season, which was that's a telltale sign when I have an eye twitch in the spring. But what I did was I joined a reformer Pilates studio a year ago. And a lot of times if I'm having a busy week and trying to fit clients in, I will just cross off and not do Pilates. But I got a paper planner, an actual physical planner. And I would go through a month in advance and look at all the Pilates classes and then write the Pilates classes in my book. And I made sure to continue to carve out time that I could go to Pilates because that's for me. And so really getting my schedule going was like one of the things that helped me have systems for a successful spring.
Yeah, I think staying organized is helpful. One of the things that my husband and I instituted, even just through our own like couples therapy activities, is we have a family meeting night, and it's just him and I, and it's Sunday nights, to like plan out the week. We have a shared family calendar because we both use iPhones, but Google Calendar does the same thing. We have a lot of calendars. I don't know about you, Jess, but we got a lot of calendars on our phones. But the having that meeting and then having this shared family calendar gives us a chance to sort of see what's going on with the kids and ourselves if we have personal commitments. So, and it's been great too because we kind of use it as dibs. And if anybody who is from Chicago or knows, there's like dibs parking in Chicago. And so, it's the same thing. You call dibs and you get dibs on that night. So if you make plans, if you and your spouse have busy social calendars, whoever's got that night in first gets the night, right? So, and if everything's in the calendar, then there's no arguing on what's happening and who's doing what. So that's been really helpful for us just to kind of, I think the first step, right, is sort of like knowing what's going on, when is it happening, and then kind of planning from there.
I would say same. Like we definitely have, I realize I need to like put my thing on mute if in case my office tries to call me here. But same, we talk on Sundays and then mom's always like, what do you need for this week? And so we let her know what we need from her. We use a shared calendar that we also have the older 2 kids on the calendar. So then they know their own schedules too.
Yeah, we have done that too. Yeah. I don't know how much they pay attention to it, but at least for now, it gives them a heads up. Sometimes they see stuff coming and going, which works out really good. And, then, we do I don't know if you guys do this stuff, but like even just getting through our week. So one of the things with my family is that we are 3 meals a day people and we don't skip lunch. We have to have lunch, and lunch needs to be relatively normal around the time of lunchtime. And so for us, we're always thinking about when we're getting our next meal. And so, in terms of sports activities and things like that, like if we have stuff on the weekends, we get Grubhub delivered, or we'll like make sure we take time to pack food or walk. My son's been playing in a league that's 1 block from a strip of restaurants. So it's really awesome. They can just walk over to, restaurants. In fact, when mom and dad were here, that's when we went to there's like a world famous Italian beef place that was like a block from the baseball diamond. And so then that was good because then dad could talk about the fact that he had the fabulous Italian beef. But that's the other part is eating for us. We haven't gotten to the point, like had a supply of like cans of wine and stuff, but we've just been so tired from doing everything. It's like, I don't even want to drink some nights. So Saturday nights have been more of just drinking water kind of evening, which is not normal for us, but
we have like one of the things that's really important in our home is sleep. And so I'm really crazy about making sure that I get a minimum of 7 hours. And then how I would carve out time for myself is that so my husband helps coach our 11-year-old's team. So he pretty much takes him there. And then our daughter's practice is at a beautiful field. So I come ready to work out. So I go for walks. And even when we're at the tournaments, I try to like go for walks, and that helps me get a break and get away. Food is tough. In the fall, I think we ordered way too much out to eat. I didn't feel good. We ordered a lot of Postmates, but so I tried really hard this spring to like Postmates was going to be a planned meal out, right? And not a supplement to a meal. And so I did a lot of meal prep. I tried really hard to do a lot of meal prep and to cook way ahead of time. So I would just cook all the proteins. We like to have bowls, and that was helpful. So we have chicken ready. You can add rice, add whatever. We've got ground turkey ready, right? We've got this ready. And that was, yeah, you're right. Meals are tricky. And for us, I know you're in the city. I just don't, not that you're not driving, but basically most of the things you're going to on a daily basis are relatively close.
Well, and honestly, our baseball season hasn't started. We're just getting some local teams. We haven't had, you've been traveling all over the place. And we don't have that until June and July is when we really start heavy travel. And like when you're out of town, like to your point, like we know this is still our comfort zone. We know all the restaurants and where to go. But I don't, it's hard, right? Because you guys were in California and Utah. Did you go to Utah?
Yeah, Utah, Arizona. And then baseball's always a lot of times in town. They don't have them start traveling as much until they're a little older, but we just have a lot, baseball's bigger in Las Vegas. So there are a lot of big tournaments. Softball's just not as big. And so we'll travel to be able to play more teams. But I say that as far as food goes, because if we have to be at a practice at 5, we're leaving at 4. We get home from school at 3:30, we're changing. And then meals, the food would have to be cooked and ready to go at 4 for us to take when we leave. And so that was just a big strategy on how we could be organized to be able to have something healthy, like something, and not that you can't get healthy at other restaurants, but it's just like, you just feel better knowing what the ingredients are. So that was something I tried really hard to do, but for sure, like sleep was important and keeping me going. I think you're better. I want to get better at it, but I think you're better at socializing. So basically, like some of my friends may not think I'm alive at this point. Like I mean, I start work. I take the kids to school. I start work at 7:30. It's session, 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 session. Get in the car, get kids, drive. You know, then exhausted, asleep at 10. So very little time to talk to friends and hang out. And I think you're good at that.
It's well, first of all, I think because I had my birthday, like last week, I always use that as an excuse to like reconnect with friends. I feel like I probably did overschedule myself, but to your point, my ultimate self-care activity is my Fridays. I don't work on Fridays. I really try not to work. For the last, I don't know, Jess, what do you think? Like years, maybe even like 10 years. Usually on Fridays, I go to the coffee shop and I meet up with my coffee friends who are all ages, and I've been doing that forever. My husband kind of gets annoyed because I feel like that's, I have a hard time staying committed to going to the gym regularly, but somehow I can manage to do coffee every Friday. And it's just an hour. And then I sometimes have a call in between, and then I go to work out, and I have an exercise group I work out with every Friday if I can for an hour. And then I meet a friend at the gym because our gym's a health club and there's a restaurant, and we have mimosas and lunch. The pool just opened, so we have our drinks poolside. So like that is my Friday, and that is my one day where I get nothing done. The kids are in school till later in the day because they have an after school club that day that they love going to. And so I think that, one of the things in terms of self-care that I'm still learning is, and you said this the other day, which is grateful is joy. And
yeah, gratitude practice equals joyful living. Yeah.
I always slaughter things when I try to remember what they were, but I do a lot of self-care, and I really do try to have myself a lot of downtime, but I don't think I take a moment to practice gratitude for those moments. And so I think by not doing that, sometimes I don't feel as filled up, right? As I should, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think I was doing that. Pandemic. Like I was trying to carve out Tuesday and Wednesday because it was the middle of the week, and then it was just time for me to get things done in the house. By the way, I can't. So when I'm saying, oh yeah, like you're like, oh, my day is Friday and I go to the pool and I have mimosas and I have coffee, and I'm like, okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm so good at self-care. I do laundry
in the house, right?
And I clean the house. I have a hard time. I have a very like my self-care, I don't know, whatever. I'm a work in progress. I recently realized I need to reread The Gifts of Imperfection about numbing. I don't feel like I'm avoiding things, but like I just like to get things done, and I can't sit. I'm not a binge watcher of shows. I cannot watch more than like 2 shows at a time. I can't physically sit for long periods of time, but I carved out Tuesdays. It's just like, so I was going to say, because of the pandemic, because telehealth became such an option, such a bigger option, working from home doesn't feel as much like work. And so I allow my scheduling to seep, I allow everything to kind of seep into my life. So, but I do work out with a friend. We're going on bike rides and a walk once a week. But what I want to say is you're inspiring me. I do need to learn how to be, I think selfish is
it's a negative thing.
Yes, I think selfish is a negative word, but I think we're flipping that upside down. I think there's a shift right now that it's not selfish, right? And that caring for yourself, getting sleep, doing things for you is becoming vital,
Self-full.
right?
Self-full.
Yes, because you don't want a resentful, angry parent who does nothing.
The title of this episode, something like that.
Yeah.
About it.
What'd you say it was called? What'd you say? Self-full?
Self-full. I don't know.
Okay. Oh my God. Make a hashtag, make a t-shirt.
Yes.
Self-full. The end. Right here, right now.
Right.
Anything else that you think was helpful for you, or any advice you have for anybody who feels like they're drowning and overwhelming in their schedule? We talked about setting up systems, communicating, activate. It's like tribe, activate.
And make time for yourself to get yourself.
And food and sleep. Food and sleep are important. We need those things.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Kel, thank you. Thanks for taking time to talk with me and sharing your tips.
See ya.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
And don't forget to follow us on chasingbrighter.com or on YouTube at Chasing Brighter or on Instagram at Chasing Brighter.